Happy holidays, my name is Mykel Ryan, and I am the creator of Pokémon_regions on Instagram and Twitter, where I share my Fakemon regions, the Leader region and the Fyrún region. I am so excited for today's video because we will be celebrating some brand new Fyrún Pokemon. But first, I thought I'd share some of my favorite Pokemon memories over the holidays. I used to always get Pokemon games, toys, and plushies for Christmas. I still remember when I got Pokemon Red, Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Sapphire. I always loved opening up a new Pokemon game. I actually only ever got them for Christmas or birthdays. I wasn't one of those kids who had an allowance or just got a game whenever I wanted it. So it just made it that much more memorable for me. I always associate Pokemon with those memories with my friends after getting the game, playing and trading with them. So I would love to hear some of your favorite memories involving Pokemon games in the holidays, whatever holiday you may celebrate. Please leave a comment down below to let me know what those are, what your favorite game you received was, what your favorite memory associated with that game was, how you'd play it with your friends. Me personally, my best friends are Kevin and Brennan. Still to this day, we're good friends. We talk about and play Pokemon together. Same with my little brother Matt. He's kind of part of the crew too. I'd actually always use the grass starter. Kevin would always use the fire starter. Brennan has always used the water starter. And my brother Matt always uses the Pika clone, the electric type rodent. So we've always had different Pokemon teams. We don't even plan it that way. It just always happened that way. Pokemon's always been a huge part of my life. It obviously is even more so now today. And I know it's an important part of all your lives. So I can't wait to hear what it means to each of you. I know what it means to me. And without further ado, let's take a look at some of these Fyrún Pokemon. The Fyrún region is inspired by Scandinavia and Norse mythology, with the majority of the region's culture, geography, and wildlife resembling that of Iceland. The region features over 115 brand new Pokemon, as well as new regional forms and evolutions for classic Pokemon, and a brand new battle mechanic known as Forge Forms, offering unique magical weapon variations of several fan-favorite Pokemon, as well as the new native Pokemon of the region. The Fyrún region's hypothetical and who knows maybe one day future fan games would be known as Pokemon Brain and Pokemon Brawn, with its story focusing on duality and division. As you set out on your own Pokemon adventure against your overprotective mother, Professor Aspen's best wishes. As you'd be pitted against your childhood best friend, as you've both been recruited by rival teams, Team Brain and Team Brawn, in the middle of their high-stakes turf war throughout the Fyrún region. As each team is led by one of the Fyrún region's divine Pokemon. Team Brain is led by the trickster Pokemon Ilruz, while Team Brawn is led by the mighty Pokemon Stormer, both trying to reclaim the region as they believe it to be their rightful kingdom. So you and the rest of Team Brain or Team Brawn are merely their pawns, as you'll not only be up against an evil team in this region, but will actually be part of one, working your way up the ranks. I hope you and your starter Pokemon are ready, because the journey through the Fyrún region continues. For those of you who missed my last holiday special, Christmas is huge in Iceland, with a lot of its own unique Christmas traditions and folklore. So of course I wanted to draw inspiration from these traditions and tales for my Icelandic-inspired Fakemon region known as the Fyrún region. So here's a quick recap of some of those previously introduced festive Fyrún Pokemon. But if you would like to learn even more about these Pokemon, please make sure to go back and watch that holiday special, or check out my Instagram page to learn more about their movesets, their stats, as well as see their shinies. First, we have my personal favorite, everybody's favorite grouchy cat, Grumper, inspired by Iceland's ghoulish folklore creature, the Yule Cat, with its evolution Chillinx doubling down on the inspiration with its signature wispy phantom bell, but now taking some inspiration from the Lynx. There is also Reindeer. Yes, I know the name is not the most creative, but it's still fun. And it is inspired by, well, reindeer, which are actually native to Iceland, with its evolution gaining the grass typing after evolving, and more of that Christmas spirit in its design, as it's inspired by a magical creature from Norse mythology. There's Kisseltoe. This cute single-stage Pokemon is made up of a loving couple, and is based on the Christmas tradition of kissing under the mistletoe. Number 1 on the naughty list is Klaus, who I'm now retconning to be a dark fairy type, and its evolution Niklaus, both being inspired by the Krampus. Last but not least, there's the cookie Pokemon, Duplicate, inspired by gingerbread cookies, with the ability to change forms and types by using different shaped cookie cutters. resembling one of the 3 Fyrún starters, or the iconic Pikachu or Eevee. And of course, there are plenty of other festive Pokemon from previous regions that would also be found in the Fyrún region, as it's got a beautiful snow-topped forest, and even a cozy little town that looks like it was ripped straight out of a Christmas movie. A new Fyrún Pokemon I'd like to introduce is the grass ground type Draseed, inspired by the world seed of the world tree from Norse mythology, its name being a play on Yggdrasoil, the name of the world tree, and seed. Draseed are rooted in the emotions of others, only able to fully grow through the desires of a loving Pokemon trainer. Draseed is a cute little seed with sprout-like arms. I just wanted a cute and simplistic design, and my biggest concern was just making it look different than Sunkern. Draseed evolves into Midgarden, its name being a play on Midgard, the Norse term for earth, which is fitting as it's a ground type, and of course garden, which is fitting of its grass typing, and the fact that it's a tree. Midgarden are usually jolly Pokemon. However, when frightened, they will plant themselves into the ground so that they look like a tree. I just love how goofy this design looks with its little dirt diaper. And now it's time to decorate the Christmas tree, as Midgarden evolves into Yggdrasoil, inspired by the world tree Yggdrasil, with its name being a play on Yggdrasil, of course, and soil, as it's a ground type and has a thick dirt beard. Yggdrasoil love to plant themselves deep into the ground, using their magical roots to help trees and other plant life flourish. I wanted Yggdrasoil to look as wise as possible, as this line kind of almost ages like a person with its first stage, Draseed, being the baby or infant stage, Midgarden obviously being that adolescent or teen stage, and of course Yggdrasoil looking more elderly and wise. Midgarden only evolves into Yggdrasoil after trade, much like other Pokemon such as Machamp, Gengar, and Golem. The reason for this being a reference to the world tree, as trade could be with anyone in the world, and so that Midgarden can evolve into it as early as possible, so if you happen to face the grass-type gym leader Birkir early on in your journey, he can have his ace Pokemon, the final stage, Yggdrasoil, on his team. I tried to make all the ace Pokemon of the Fyrún gym leaders as easily accessible as possible for this very reason, so they would be able to have their ace Pokemon no matter when you face them on your journey through the Fyrún region. Birkir doubles as a farmer who helps run the Lowford farmlands, with the help of the wild Pokemon that inhabit the fields. Despite not actually capturing them, he has a strong relationship with these wild Pokemon, as they work tirelessly together day in and out to maintain the field's crops. Birkir was hoping his son, Burner, would follow in his footsteps and help maintain the Lowford Fieldlands after he retired. However, his son Burner ended up wanting to pursue his own dreams, and ended up surpassing his father after becoming a member of the Fyrún's Elite Four as a ground-type specialist. Of course, Birkir is proud of his son, even if it has him worried about the day he has to retire, and what it would mean for the Lowford farmlands, especially as Birkir has gotten older and isn't in as good shape as he used to be. That being said, he's still a skilled Pokemon trainer, with his well-kept grass types being just as experienced in battle as he is over decades of hard work both on and off the battlefield. Of course, Yggdrasoil has a forge form, being Birkir's ace weapon. This forge form is a hammer and of the Wrecker type. Smashing into the ground, Birkir uses it to summon plants from within the earth to help trap his opponents, until he's ready to hit them head on, with great force might I add. Working on a farm all day really helps build some muscle. The hammer looks like a tree, of course, with magical runes engraved into the oak, as a nod to the world tree that is inspired by, and to give it a pop of color. If you're wondering what a forge form is, please make sure to go back and watch some of my previous videos, but basically it is a brand new mechanic and phenomenon found in the Fyrún region, where Pokemon transform into living magical weapons that the trainer uses to enter the battle, with the aura of that Pokemon helping to protect and guide them in battle. Now, I'd like to introduce the star of this holiday special, another festive Fyrún Pokemon, I've been waiting to introduce and teasing for quite some time now. Santa's little helper, the fairy type, Elfay. Inspired by elves, of course. Elfay are normally invisible, only showing themselves to those who shower them with enough gifts. Occasionally, Elfay will even leave them a gift in return. While I'm totally playing into the whole Christmas worker elf thing for the holidays, it's important to note that this was not really designed to be a Christmas mon. It is more so inspired by the elves of fables, and more importantly from Icelandic folklore, as elves play a vital role in Icelandic folklore and culture. Even today, apparently some Icelandic people still believe in elves. So who knows, maybe there's something to it. The Huldelfolk are the main source of inspiration for this line, but I'll get more into that later. I wanted this line to feel like an extension to the Impidimp and Hatina lines, as both of those share similar fairy tale inspiration. So I wanted to use similar colors with the pinkish purple and teal. These two fairy-type Pokemon are also found in the same area of the Fyrún region as Elfay, the Rainbow Woodlands. This magical forest is actually the only place in the Fyrún region to catch Elfay. And even then it is rather hard to find, so catching this Pokemon won't be easy, but will be well worth it if you manage to actually do so. Elfay's design is rather simplistic, much like the two Pokemon I decided to model it after, but of course its big elf ears are its key feature, and its cutesy pose and colors give it plenty of personality. Elfay evolves into Dwelf, a play on Dwell, as the Huldelfolk it is inspired by means hidden ones, and of course elf. Like Elfay, Dwelf are normally invisible to the human eye, but these whimsical Pokemon are a little more mischievous in nature, convincing most trainers that they have lost their minds. It retains its mono fairy typing and pink-teal color scheme, but doubles down on its cutesy design, making it look a little more fantastical and awkward, like most middle stages. Dwelf is even harder to encounter in the wild than its pre-evolution Elfay, so the best way to get this stage is to catch and evolve an Elfay. That being said, although it's hard to actually catch an Elfay or Dwelf, you can expect to see them both on a handful of trainer teams throughout the Fyrún region, as it's one of the most sought after and beloved Pokemon in the Fyrún region. I used yet another fairy type, Kirlia, as inspiration for Dwelf's dainty design. With its pointy elf ears, flamboyant colors, whimsical design, and dainty long arms and legs, this design is full of personality and I think a great addition to any trainer's team. Dwelf evolves into Huldelfolk, its name being a play on the creature it's inspired by, the Icelandic elves, which once again translates to hidden ones, just with the word elf thrown into the name. While normally invisible, these majestic Pokemon are fierce battlers, who will only appear to defend the Pokemon of the Rainbow Woodlands. As you can see, it has two different appearances depending on its gender. More cape-like hair for the male, and almost like a ponytail for the female, both with subtle yet effective differences. I was originally going to make this line Fairy Dark type, but not only realized I needed more monotypes after taking a close look at my Pokedex, but that I have too many Dark types. More importantly, given I wanted this line to parallel or feel connected to the Hatterene and Grimmsnarl lines, I decided it was best to make this change because of course, Grimmsnarl is already a Dark Fairy type. So given I wanted to make this feel like a trio, I really didn't want to repeat that typing. But because of this change, I decided to go back and give the Niklaus line the fairy typing instead, like I previously mentioned at the start of the video, which is fitting of its lure and playful design with the candy cane horns. Funny story, the only reason this line wasn't originally Dark Fairy type is because I originally planned to make the Elfay line Fairy Dark type in its final stages, and didn't want overlap. So changing this line to Pure Fairy opened up the doors for me to go back and change the Niklaus line to Dark Fairy. I really wanted this design not only to look elf-like and mythical, but almost alien, as some have theorized the elves of Iceland to be aliens, which I thought was kind of funny, and would make for a fun, unique design for a Pokemon. I also really wanted this line to look elegant and poised as well. Huldelfolk not only has a forge form, it has two forge forms, depending on its gender, both forge forms being Scythes and of the Slasher type. with slight differences in their designs, just like their original forms, with its hair making up the blade of the scythe. The male version is actually the ace Pokemon of the Fyrún Region's Fairy-type gym leader, Ludvik, or Lord Ludvik, as he is Fyrún royalty, something he won't let anyone else forget. He is a total snob, looking down on those he feels are beneath him, which is pretty much everyone, but especially the members of Team Brain and Team Brawn, as he views them to be delinquents. So naturally, being a member of one of the respective aforementioned teams, he isn't a fan of you or your rival. In fact, while Champion Odin has ordered the Fyrún Region gym leaders to stop Team Brain and Team Brawn, Ludvik has decided to go rogue and take matters into his own hands, which of course will end up upsetting Champion Odin, as some of his measures can be a little bit extreme. Ludvik is a skilled Pokemon trainer and forge fighter, whose every move is executed with perfect precision. Ludvik is cold and calculated, able to counter almost any attack with ease. Like his ace Pokemon, he's pretty hard to track. Ludvik's Fairy-type gym is found in a small, quaint village outside of the Rainbow Woods, built within the hills. This town, like most of the towns in the Fyrún region, is inspired by a real town in Iceland, which has similar homes built into the hills, as well as little homes and shrines built to the elves, as they leave gifts for the elves in return for good fortune. It's also fun to note that these little houses built into the hills of this Icelandic town are said to be the inspiration for the Hobbit homes in the Lord of the Rings series. And once again, the Rainbow Woods is found right next to this town, which is home to many magical Pokemon, such as Elfay and Draseed, and many more yet to be introduced. But we'll get to those later. And of course, a lot of Fairy-type Pokemon can be found here as well. Of course, both of these lines would be obtainable in Pokemon Legends Realmdale, aka the ancient Seydr region, like all native Fyrún Pokemon, both of which being found in the forest areas of the floral fieldlands. Of course, the Elfay line would be just as rare and hard to find as it is in the modern-day Fyrún region. But, if you manage to do so, its final stage's Forge form would be just as useful in the Seydr region as it is in the Fyrún region. If you manage to defeat Ludvik, you are rewarded with the Fable Badge and the Enchantment TM, which is essentially a Fairy-type Fire Blast or Blizzard, with a 30% chance of leaving the target infatuated instead. This was a move I created for my first Fakemon region, the Leader region. Ludvik's team of fantastical Fairy-type Pokemon is inspired by magical creatures normally found in fairy tales, such as elves, pixies, imps, and witches. Like all of the Fyrún gym leaders, his team would change depending on where you are in your journey when facing him. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button, hit that notification bell for more content. Please leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought of these Pokemon, as well as your favorite Pokemon holiday memories or games. And most importantly, please, please, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. I have so many cool and exciting projects in the works that I cannot wait to share with you. Also, please make sure to go support all of the incredible artists that I commissioned and worked with on the artworks for this video. I couldn't be more grateful for them. All these ideas would not come to life without their help, so thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know they'll appreciate it. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope you have a good one with your loved ones, good company, good food. Just stay safe and sane and have an amazing time. I will see you all in the future. Thank you so much. Take care.